Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we're going to talk about the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, beating former President Trump in a straw poll of conservatives. That's an interesting development, and it plays out in a bunch of ways that are relatively entertaining for once. So, traditional politics would suggest that this isn't an issue. Ron DeSantis, well, he has pledged his loyalty to Trump. He's basically Trump Jr., he's Trump light. And conventional wisdom would suggest that DeSantis and Trump being the top two candidates in this poll, well, that would be a good thing for Trump, because Trump would have at least some influence over DeSantis, and Trump's agenda would be carried forward. That's conventional wisdom about conventional politicians who actually have an agenda and policy. Trump doesn't. Trump was never about agenda or policy. Trump was about himself. He was about ego. So, the conventional wisdom here doesn't really apply, because it's going to play out in a number of ways. One is that Trump just decides to start taking swipes at DeSantis, and boy, that'll be fun. That'll be entertaining, because he'll feel threatened by a younger, more charismatic, more politically astute, better politician rival. So he'll try to take him out. Probably come up with a nickname for him. That's one option. Another option is that Trump tries to co-opt him and make him vice president. I don't know that DeSantis will go for that, because DeSantis appears to have a pretty big ego too. Why would he be vice president when he could be president? And if he runs and wins, Trump will undoubtedly try to use a bunch of undue influence over him, which, once DeSantis is in office, he has absolutely no use for Trump. So I don't know that Trump's suggestions or demands will be met. So it's an interesting little setup. All of this is pretty good for the Democratic Party. That this is kind of a best case scenario for them for 2024. But there's an issue. In order for it to matter, the Democrats have to deliver on policy and agenda, because they can frame a Trump-DeSantis team up as, you saw what Trump did last time. Be easy to defeat. Could frame DeSantis alone as just Trump's errand boy, and it would be pretty easy to do that. Be pretty easy to frame it that way, and they could once again run on "we're not Trump" and probably win. The problem is that's only going to work if they can deliver. And right now they're hitting roadblock after roadblock when it comes to their major pieces of legislation. That roadblock's name is Mitch McConnell. The obstructionist tactics are working, and the Democratic Party is not doing a good job of getting its messaging out about the key pieces of legislation. I don't know that there's been a lot of talk that has made headlines about what's in the voting rights bill or the infrastructure bill. Specifics. That information isn't really being carried out well enough, because the American people are used to controversy. They're used to things that are, just sensationalized. And that's not this administration. They're kind of boring. They're going to have to do better at getting those points out, because the bills, the stuff in the agenda that the Democrats are pushing, that the Biden administration is pushing, it's stuff the American people want. But the Biden administration is looking more to the Senate and saying, well, we got to get through them, rather than framing it as making people disaffected with the Republican Senate, with the Republican senators, with Mitch McConnell. You could have this, but he's in the way. The nice guy election portion of this, for the Biden administration, that's over. He is going to have to play hardball if he wants to get anywhere. The bipartisanship isn't going to work. For bipartisanship to work, you have to assume that both groups are at least somewhat in favor of preserving the American Republic. One side has proven they're not. They don't care. They have devolved into Dr. Seuss and Mr. Potato Head talking points. They're going to try to win the culture war. That's the goal. If the Democratic Party wants to be competitive in 2022 and 2024, they either have to start getting their agenda through, or they have to start clearly explaining how it would benefit the average American and explaining why it's not getting through. Because right now, there's a whole lot of people who don't know. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.